A suspect is shot and killed after a shootout with police in Frederick. The latest on the confrontation and what investigators are saying about the man who was killed. Chaos on the Hill. The gridlock over Speaker of the House drags on in our nation's capital. How the top candidate is now trying to win the position after days of failed votes. And next stop, New York. Colorado is sending migrants arriving in Denver to the Big Apple. Governor Polis estimates about 70% of the thousands of migrants who have come here intend to move on. Thanks for joining us for Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Brian Sanders, and we begin with the police shooting in the northern Colorado town of Frederick. Officers say when they arrived to a home on 7th Street there was an exchange of gunfire between a man and police. Although no officers were hurt, but police units have been on the scene there for several hours. A regional incident response team is investigating whether police followed protocol. A Denver police officer is off the force for now after he was indicted by a grand jury for shooting at a man and hitting innocent bystanders as bars were letting out downtown last July. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford reports from Lodo with the charges he's facing.
That's right. But on the other hand, the people who were injured in this shooting, many of them are glad to see this case moving forward. But yes, there are people like the mayor, also people like the local police union who are very concerned that cases like these could make it more difficult for officers to do their jobs. So one officer has been indicted in connection with a shooting in Lodo that left 6 bystanders injured. Officer Brandon Ramos is facing 2 felony and 12 misdemeanor charges. 3 Denver officers were involved in the July 17 shooting, but only 1 is being charged. Now, according to the indictment, the other officers used a degree of force that was reasonably necessary to defend themselves and to make sure that no one else was at risk. Police were attempting to take Jordan Waddy into custody when they say that he flashed a gun at them, but Waddy never fired, and body cam video shows that he threw the gun to the ground. The Denver Police Protective Association says it will defend Officer Ramos.
The men and women of the Denver Police Department have a long tradition of placing themselves in harm's way for the sake of protecting others. And when they are criminally prosecuted for trying their best and doing a difficult and dangerous job, it undermines their ability to protect our citizens.
And in a statement, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock said that he was surprised that the grand jury decided to move forward on this. We did check, and a hearing has not been set for Ramos just yet. In Denver, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
An internal investigation says a former Clear Creek County deputy did not act properly and failed to de-escalate the situation, leading to the death of Christian Glass. The investigation was conducted by the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Former Clear Creek deputy Andrew Bowen shot and killed Glass back in June after Glass had asked for roadside assistance near Silver Plume. Bowen was indicted in November on second-degree homicide and other charges, and a second, now former deputy Kyle Gould, was also indicted. We do have some breaking news today. In a high-profile national case, we now know how Idaho police connected the man accused in the murder of 4 college students to the crime. A just-released affidavit shows Brian Koberger's DNA was found on the knife sheath at the scene. It also shows a Colorado connection. A license plate reader captured his vehicle in western Colorado, and a white Hyundai Elantra was seen circling the area several times and then speeding away right after the time of the murders. Police at nearby Washington State University, where Koberger was a PhD criminology student, alerted detectives they saw one of those cars parked in a student lot on campus and that it belonged to Koberger. Now to the chaos on Capitol Hill, where Kevin McCarthy is reportedly offering new concessions after losing a 7th vote for House Speaker. A key member of the opposition Republicans, Colorado's Lauren Boebert, told me this morning the process might need to go an entirely different direction.
Now we need to look forward to a consensus candidate so we can deliver on the promises that we made to the American people and fix this fundamentally broken town.
ABC's Faith Abube looks at what it will take to get a speaker voted in and how to get this Congress started.
This morning, new pressure on Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy as he stands firm despite his flailing bid to become the next House Speaker.
Talk until we get this done.
After hardline conservatives blocked him 6 straight times from securing the Speaker's gavel, sources tell ABC News McCarthy is now offering another round of major concessions, pulling out all the stops to try to secure the 218 votes he needs. Sources say McCarthy has offered to change the House rules to allow just one lawmaker to force a vote to remove him as Speaker. He's also agreed to put more ultra-conservative Republicans on the powerful House Rules Committee and bring bills on term limits and border security up for a vote. Concessions political analysts say would significantly weaken his power in Congress.
None of us has seen anything like this disrespect for the institution in a most cavalier, frivolous way. It's quite sad.
While the new concessions seem to have persuaded some of the 20 conservative Republican holdouts, the others appear dug in, which is enough to block McCarthy from becoming Speaker. Even calls from former President Trump have failed.
The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw.
The impasse frustrating some of McCarthy's supporters.
If 20 people are able to drive this train however they want to, 202 of us might as well go home.
And if the anti-McCarthy Republicans were to accept his latest offer, it would take only one member, either a Democrat or a Republican, to trigger a vote to remove him with a simple majority. This is the concession McCarthy himself called a red line in the past. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Colorado Republican Representative Ken Buck, meanwhile, is pointing to House Minority Whip Steve Scalise as the consensus candidate to replace McCarthy. Buck said Scalise has a chance at brokering a deal with the dissenting Republicans.
There are a few of those 20 that just aren't going to vote for Kevin McCarthy, but would vote for somebody else. There are some of the others in that 20 who want changes in the rules, and there are some others that care about policy. And so I think if Steve meets those three needs, he will be able to move forward and take the speakership.
Representative Buck added that he believes it's time to move on and that GOP senior leaders might have to address McCarthy if he's unable to obtain the speakership. The state of Colorado is now starting to help migrants get to their final destination. Since December, more than 3,600 people have arrived in our state. Governor Polis believes roughly 70% intend to travel beyond Colorado, though. Wednesday, groups boarded buses headed to New York and Chicago, and we spoke with one man waiting to board. He explained why he and others risked their lives to come here.
No hay trabajo, no hay nada, hermano. La dictadura está muy dura por allá. La dictadura tiene todo monopolizado. Por la vida tan dura, hermano, oíste, por la vida tan dura, no hay buen estudio para los hijos, buen comer, buen vivir.
The city and county of Denver expect to spend at least $3 million in the coming months to address the migrant crisis. The state will reimburse the city for some of those costs. New this hour, the Biden administration says it will immediately begin turning away Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans who cross the U.S. border illegally. Instead, the administration will accept 30,000 people per month from the four countries in what it calls a parole program. It will be for 2 years and offer the ability to work if the people have sponsors and pass a background check. President Biden will visit the border this weekend. The city of Aurora is hosting a meet and greet tonight for its fire chief finalists. It's your chance to ask the candidates questions, too.
If they want to grill them on certain issues, we welcome that because, like I said, we want to make sure that we get the best person for the job.
So the meet and greet is at City Hall tonight, starting at 6. You can also watch online at engageaurora.org/firechiefsearch. If you're dreaming of buying a new home in the new year, the latest housing sales report for the Denver Metro has mixed news. Interest rates are obviously still hurting buying power, but you're able to ask sellers for more concessions now.
So you're in a position that buyers last January were not in. And so you do have the opportunity to ask the seller to buy the rate down or negotiate on inspection items, or even have the time to get in to see the property 2 or 3 times before you decide to buy the home.
In December, the median time for homes to be on the market was 30 days. That was a big change from a year ago when it was 5 days. The average closing price in December was $708,000, about the same as a year ago, and home sales have slowed. The total number of closed homes in 2022 was just over 50,000. That was down 21% from the previous year. And if you're looking at those prices thinking, I still can't afford that. We know rent isn't cheap either, so we dug into the numbers from apartmentlist.com and found the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Denver is $13.76 a month, although 9 months ago in March, rent was about $100 more, so there is a little bit of relief. We've seen the same drop in two-bedroom prices. The average rent now is about $1,700. Denver's popular e-bike rebate program is coming back. The city will release another round of vouchers at the end of this month. More than 800 rebates will be available starting January 31st on a first-come, first-served basis. The change this time is that the rebate is only $300 instead of $400. The program will still offer $1,200 rebates for income-qualified residents. Well, the Buffalo Bills say safety Damar Hamlin has made remarkable improvement over the last 24 hours. Some good news to provide here. The Bills say he is still critically ill after collapsing on the field from cardiac arrest during their Monday night game against the Bengals. Family members say he is also showing signs of progress, though. NFL officials said they continue to evaluate when the Bills and Bengals might play again. They add their sole focus right now is on Damar and his recovery. Colorado's own Michaela Schifrin is the 2023 World Cup women's slalom winner. That puts her one victory away from tying Lindsey Vonn for the second highest total number of wins in World Cup history. She has her chance this weekend to get her 82nd win. Vonn set that mark of 82 wins before retiring in 2019. And then Schifrin could fight for first from Sweden's Ingmar Stenmark, who has 86 World Cup titles. A Colorado tradition is less than an hour from kicking off here in Denver. It is stock show parade time with all the sights and sounds you can expect to see leading this year's parade.